Hey people, we're back, finally. So yeah, this topic this week, that we were going to do, like, before we all kind of got caught up in life, um, is self-care, which is, a very important topic. Um, I'm just gonna list off some things I do and explain why I do them. These are things I do, so they might not be right for you. But it is important to, spend some time, or have activities to do to kind of just collect yourself, right? To ground yourself with. Um, as a therapist in training, or an aspiring therapist, therapy for me helped a lot. Um, I'm currently not in therapy because my therapist passed away in April. But he taught me a lot about dealing with my emotions, and I mean, there's a whole stigma associated with being in therapy, or I guess just having a mental disorder or whatever with the field in general. But um, like I guess as an aspiring therapist, like our field stresses that you should be in therapy because if your job is helping other people, like it's important to know that you need help too, right? But yeah, therapists are also notoriously bad at self-care, I find, even though we like stress the importance of it. So therapy helped me a lot. It's just good to have someone to talk to. I mean, I can do that with friends, but having someone who's not necessarily whose job or whose training like prepares them to listen, but also someone who's a little more objective, right? Um, you really don't owe your therapist anything. Like it's his job to take care of you. Whereas with your friends, it's kind of more interdependent, and both have their strengths and weaknesses, as support systems. So have both. Talk to a therapist and talk to your friends. Um, Next thing I do, I guess, is I drink. um, this is not advocating for drinking, but I find that, and I drink, socially with friends. I don't really drink that much, at least not in college. But sometimes I do drink alone, and what I've realized is that if I'm really down and I'm having problems expressing my emotions, um, drinking alone lets me cry easier. So that's the self care aspect, not so much the actual drinking. So in a weird way, alcohol can be kind of like a truth serum for me. Um, but that's not good to go overboard with. And luckily, I haven't had to do that in a while. Ever since um, finding a therapist or having had a therapist, I've learned to cry for myself a lot easier. So yeah, other things I do, I watch a lot of TV, I guess. Yeah, like right now I'm following Game of Thrones, and I watch let's plays like on YouTube of video games because I'm too lazy to play video games myself. Um, if I'm really down, I watch Naruto. So anime occasionally gets thrown in there into the mix, and I really just watch Naruto. Um, for like the nostalgia factor because I started watching that when I was 12, and then now it's kind of just nice to watch something, when I'm feeling down where like the main character's like goal is to take care of everybody, right? So and it's got fighting in it, and I'm a martial artist, so that's always a win for me. And then so TV in general, where I don't really have TV, so more like watching things on the internet. Um, And the most important thing I do for self care is probably martial arts itself. Um, for me, karate practice or whatever martial art practice in general is meditative, especially if I do kata or forms, or even just drills. And of all the self care things I do, like this is probably the healthiest thing I do, and also like on like all levels, like physically and mentally, because it's exercise. Um, but like also it is what works best. So if I'm really down and I'm like not I'm in a position where I can do this, like I've got the space, I do a kata or I do a drill, or even if I just spend, like 3 minutes with a punch bag, like I have a punch bag on my deck, just throwing punches. Like for me, it's a grounding experience, it's an embodying experience, and that makes it a meditative one. So I rely heavily on karate and martial arts in general to ground me, and I find that to be kind of the most holistic kind of self-care thing I can do. So, huge proponent of the martial arts. Um, yeah, like I can talk about it forever. I encourage everyone go give it a try. I mean, I know being trans, like any sort of like sport or physical activity, can be kind of like icky. But like I realized like growing up, I loved martial arts enough to stick it through with it, whereas I dropped like almost every other sport, like basketball or tennis. Like basically, I didn't even try swimming. Like so, I swim like a brick in water. So yeah, like anything that get remotely naked, like not happening, or anything that involved team sports, not happening. But karate for me was not just a physical thing, but is about becoming a whole human being. So like there's the physical, self-defense aspect of it, the exercise aspect of it, and the health aspect of it. But there's also the like mental kind of meditative, and then philosophical and spiritual aspect to it. Um, so like to me, it's basically the best thing I can do for self-care. It's like everything. So yeah, those are some things I do for self-care. Not for everybody, obviously. But it is important to find, some things that you can do for yourself, um, to kind of either calm yourself or gather yourself, um, and to kind of give you a break from the rest of life, the chaos of life. So I encourage you to, pick up a hobby, find a therapist, and don't compromise when you're looking for therapists. If you don't trust them, like within like 2-3 sessions, or you don't feel comfortable, or you can't see it going anywhere, like as a good relationship, find another one. I mean, it can be tough finding a good one. You just keep at it, right? And yeah, I guess that's all the things that come off the top of my head. So until next time, laters.